Welcome to the Top 10 Gardener with Master Gardener Ken Lain. Gardening can be challenging, but with Ken's tips, tricks, and top 10 advice, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, welcome your garden host, Ken Lain.
And welcome to this week's edition of The Mountain Gardener, your host, Ken Lain, here every week talking about the landscapes of northern Arizona. We are into the planting season. You should feel some pressure for certain kinds of plants. If you're, if you're going to plant, let's say a new pine tree, a big blaze maple, new fruit trees, the ideal time to plant those is before they wake up. You really do want to get those in the ground while they're still dormant, or so they've got time to acclimate, get used to the weather, which we brought them in. They're here at the garden center. They're acclimating right now, but that's to the outdoor ambient temperature. So they wake up when all the other maples wake up, and they wake up when all the other aspens wake up, fruit trees, whatever it is. They also, ideally, if they can acclimate to your soil, that's even better. If you can go to the top end, bottom end, or below ground, above ground, if they can get used to that new planting area before they're actually leafing out, blooming, growing, setting fruit, that kind of stuff, that is ideal. Now, it's not the most popular time. I'll tell you that right now. So May is the most popular time to plant trees. We are overrun. Every department, everywhere. We can't get enough staff. The trucks, there's 3 trucks a day. It's craziness. That's the most popular time. But the healthiest time, the best time for your plants, actually, it's even better for you because May is going to it starts to get warm. It's 80 degrees. There's prevailing southwest wind. It's dry. It wears on you. It's hot during the day. Right now, it's nice and cool. You can work all day. You can work until you decide you don't want to work anymore because the weather's not going to beat you down for the plant or for you. And so it's a good time to plant. Now, I would say maybe not ideal to be planting summer things. That is, I've got people asking for crepe myrtles and some butterfly bush, Rosa Sharons, those summer, smoke bush, all those things that bloom in the summer. Now, those are real late to wake up. So, I mean, most folks get tricked into thinking their crepe myrtles are dead. They're going, no, it's not leafed out. Everything else in my yard. My lilacs have already bloomed and they're leafing now. My Forsythia are done and they're fully leafed. What's going on with my crepe myrtles? Grapes can be that way. They have certain plants have zero interest in spring. They want it to be warm. They're kind of like a lizard. They want to crawl up there, sunbathe on a rock, and just take in the sun. And they're not going to leaf out until they can do that. Well, they're going to be until it's end of April, first part of May before the grapes are really taking off. Whereas your roses, they're already leafing out. Your Forsythia, they bloomed this week. Out in Prescott Valley, the purple leaf plums. It's a pink blooming tree. You're seeing a tree out there just cracked this last couple days. They love the spring season. So it's time to plant those things. And if you can put them in the ground just before they wake up, that is the peak window. I mean, the peonies here at the garden center, they are growing an inch a day. It's wild. It's kind of fun to watch. As a gardener, I mean, I've been doing this 32 years. I never tire. I mean, I love coming to work and going, I wonder what grew more since yesterday. This is kind of fun. So it's like Christmas for gardeners all the time, only I get to work in it. I get paid to come to work and play with plants. I mean, this is like the best job ever. And so it's a good thing. If you're thinking of the spring blooming plants, so we are stocked full of lilacs. They're everywhere. We got every variety, every size, every color, every dwarfs, mid dwarfs, standard, the one your grandmother grew. We got them all. If you can they're heavily budded up. They're not quite blooming. They will be within days, but they're not quite blooming. But if you can put those in the ground before they bloom, they will acclimate better because you've put them in the ground, and you'll get to enjoy those flowers longer than if you're to come into the nursery in 3 weeks. They're all in full bloom. Every cart's got a lilac on them. It will sell out. That's the goal, at least. We don't want any left. So we make room for the summer blooming things. We have more crepe myrtles coming. We've got some now, but they're just twigs in a bucket. Lilacs are heavily budded and inspirational. That's exciting. So we have more of those. So if you can get them in before, and that's what I want to share with you. You are seeing things bloom right now. Things have spring hit this week. So Prescott Valley, Lisa and I were out there a couple times this week. We love going out there, hitting the movies. Audio Adrenaline was putting some stuff for us out. They were just doing work for us on a truck I have. So we were out there a couple times, and the purple leaf plum, that's one that kind of announces spring, is opening. The one right after that, so it will be purple leaf plum, is this ornamental plum, bright pink flowers. When it's done blooming in about 3-4 weeks, it starts to put on these purple leaves. Doesn't necessarily put fruits on, but it's just you're planting that for the flower and for the purple foliage. There's a certain place to have that. And then right after that, or as it's ending blooming, the red buds start blooming. In Prescott Valley, you all are famous. The town of Prescott Valley has done such a good job at planting trees out there. That's why they make the best of the best list, Arbor Day, whatever. They are on track for planting more trees. They just do a good job. And those two are kind of the primary ones they plant for the spring season. Well done. So red buds are a shorter tree. They're about the same size. Maybe call it high teens. So under 20 feet tall, rounded shape. So they take the wind really well. Red buds are actually a native here. So there's a wild variety. It's called Western red bud or Mexican red bud. There's a couple native varieties that grow here, but all the varieties do really well. And so they'll basically be different sizes and different leaf colors. The flowers are always going to be pink, bright pink. That there's different, I guess there's different brightnesses. Is that even a word? Intensities of pink. So like Oklahoma red bud or Merlot red bud have a real, like a magenta, real like fluorescent pink. It's very bright. The standard one we've grown for years is Eastern red bud. It's the tallest of the varieties. It's like a mini shade tree. It has a lighter pink, but all have pink. And then the leaves can be anywhere from green to like Kelly green to purple to variations to, there's one called flamethrower. The new growth comes out red, and then the leaves are like gold color. It's very pretty. It looks like a flamethrower coming out as it emerges with growth, and it has some green on it. It's very pretty. So it's a newer variety, but it has a real bright, that's one that has that fluorescent a pink color to it. All take the wind, all take the sun, and they're equally hardy. So, but now's the time. Forsythia started blooming in Prescott, at least here in my neighborhood. We are seeing Forsythia. There's a yellow bush that's covered in yellow flowers. It opened up just this week. And so as you drive around, you'll see more and more and more of these. And so it depends on what altitude. So the higher elevation's a little cooler, but really it comes down to which part of the hill are you facing? So the east exposure, the south exposure, those two, the landscapes that have that exposure will bloom first. The ones that are pointing to the west and the north, they will bloom about a week, 10 days after your neighbors do on the east side. It's all because it's just a little warmer. That north side stays cooler. And so the buds stay compact. They open a little bit later. So don't be concerned if you see your neighbors going, oh my gosh, their lilacs are in bloom. What's going on with mine? Just give them a moment, give them a week, and they too will be in bloom. And when your neighbors, those east-facing, south-facing neighbors, when they have bloomed out, yours are still going to be in bloom. So yours might even bloom longer because it's a little bit cooler, more shady. They won't dry out, that kind of stuff. So enjoy the spring season. Flowering quince start heavily budded, starting to crack color. The Mediterranean heath has been blooming. Camellias, they have been in bloom. I have some winter blooming jasmine. It's a shrub. It's a green shrub that has small leaves, but it starts even before Forsythia does with this bright yellow flower. At first, you'd think it's a Forsythia, but nope, it's a flowering jasmine. Doesn't have the fragrance that southern jasmine or star jasmine does, but it has a brighter flower. There's a lot in store this show for you. We've got a lot of garden tips, tricks, and garden hacks that'll help you garden better, smarter this spring. Don't go anywhere. You got to pay a couple bills. Be right back after this.
If life is a bowl of cherries, why not make them the biggest, sweetest cherries ever?
Waters Garden Center is super excited to introduce our new organic fruit and vegetable plant food.
This fertilizer has the bonus of added calcium that gives fruit trees and veggies an extra boost to produce healthy, abundant crops.
Feed your plants now to help them thrive and grow more fruits than ever. And just $27 for a 20-pound bag.
Safe, natural, organic fruit and vegetable plant food only at Waters Garden Center.
You're listening to Garden Master Ken Lain, owner of Waters Garden Center in Prescott. Join his daily podcast for timely garden advice seasonally right for the gardens. Ken can be found throughout the week at Waters Garden Center in Prescott or through his website at top10gardener.com.